If you've ever worked hard at something and felt like nothing was changing, this is usually where people quit. They switch plans, they start over, they assume it's not working. But most of the time, the problem isn't the effort, it's that progress is invisible at this stage. In this video, I'll show you why this happens and why quitting here is the biggest mistake people make. The reason this feels so frustrating is because progress doesn't move in a straight line. It usually follows a pattern. This is what progress actually looks like. When you start something new, you put in effort and you usually see a little progress at first. That's the exciting part. You feel motivated. You feel like it's working. But then something happens. Even though the effort stays the same, the results slow down. Sometimes they feel like they disappear completely. And this is where uncertainty kicks in. You don't know if what you are doing is working anymore. There is no feedback, no proof, no reassurance. This part right here is where most people quit. Not because they are lazy, not because it's not working, but because progress is invisible at this stage. They think something is wrong, so they switch plans. And that puts them right back at the start. But if you stay through this part, this is where progress actually starts to compound. The hard part isn't doing the work. The hard part is staying when you don't have certainty yet. This is where most people make the wrong move. They don't think maybe this is part of the process. They think this isn't working. So they switch. A new plan, a new goal, a new routine. And at first, it feels better. Not because it's better, but because the uncertainty disappears for a moment. Starting something new feels productive. You get that early progress again. You feel motivated. But eventually, every path leads back there. The same slow phase, the same doubt, the same temptation to quit. Switching doesn't help you avoid this part. It just makes you repeat it. That's why people work hard for years and still feel stuck. Not because they are not trying, but because they never stay long enough to reach the part where progress compounds. So if quitting doesn't help and switching just resets the process, what actually matters here? It's not motivation, it's not discipline, and it's not doing more. What matters most here is staying consistent without needing proof yet. That means learning how to sit with uncertainty. You don't get feedback here. You don't get reassurance here. And most of the time, you don't even know how long this part will last. There isn't a fixed timeline for this phase. It depends on what you are building and how consistent you are. And usually, the bigger the goal, the longer this path lasts. That doesn't mean it's not working. It just means you are early. And just to be clear, quitting isn't always wrong. Quitting can make sense when something truly doesn't align anymore. But quitting because it feels unclear is how people stay stuck. This phase isn't a sign to change direction. It's a sign to hold steady. Almost every path worth taking goes through a phase like this. Because once you stay long enough, progress doesn't just show up. It starts to stack. If you're in this phase right now, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are just early. Almost everyone who makes real progress goes through this part. The difference is most people leave too soon. If you can stay here without proof, without reassurance, without knowing exactly when it will pay off, this is where things start to change. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly. Then all of a sudden, it's obvious. And when that happens, it won't feel like luck. It will feel earned. And if what makes this phase hardest for you is trying to force yourself through it, I break down a system that makes discipline almost unnecessary in this video. Remember, the path is yours to walk. And as always, I'm in your corner, rooting for you.